The scent of engine oil and fresh polish lingered in the air as the bright lights of a Mercedes-Benz truck showroom gleamed across rows of chrome and glass. It was one of those spotless places where success had a shine to it and where no one expected surprises. That was until the glass doors swung open and a ragged old man stepped in. His boots were scuffed, his cap torn, and his shirt bore the stains of long, hard years on the road. His beard was gray, his eyes calm, and his presence quietly unsettling in a world built on first impressions. Conversations faded. A few employees shared amused looks. Behind the front desk stood Miranda Hale, confident, silver-haired, and sharp as the engines she sold. Her team, including the young new hire Julia, couldn't help but smirk as the old man approached one of the largest white trucks on display. He placed a rough hand on its gleaming grille and whispered, "She's a beauty." Then, with a steady voice that carried through the room, he said, "I'll take 5 of these." The room froze, and then erupted in laughter. Julia covered her mouth to hide her grin. "Sir, these aren't bicycles," Miranda said dryly. "Each of these trucks costs more than most people earn in a lifetime." The man simply nodded. "I know," he replied, "and I'll take 5. Before we go on, if you believe in kindness, second chances, and the power of not judging a book by its cover, please like, comment, share, and subscribe to HOA Chronicles, where real stories remind us that compassion can still change lives. Back in the showroom, the laughter died down. But something about the man's calm certainty made Miranda uneasy. There was no madness in his eyes, just purpose. "Sir," she said carefully, "you might be in the wrong place. There's a used vehicle lot down the street." He smiled faintly. "No, I'm in the right place. Maybe you're just looking at the wrong manual." He walked over to the corner and poured himself a small cup of water, moving with the slow precision of someone who'd spent a lifetime around machines. No one knew his story, that his name was Harold Brinley, a once respected engineer, soldier, and father. Life had taken nearly everything from him. His wife, Clara, lost to a hospital bill he couldn't pay. His small trucking business, crushed by corporate greed. And his home, gone overnight. But Harold wasn't the kind to give up. For 5 long years, he'd worked quietly in the shadows, fixing broken engines by the roadside, saving every cent, sleeping in abandoned garages. His dream? To start a company called Second Route Logistics, a transport business that would give jobs to people who had lost everything. Veterans, widows, single parents, and the homeless. And today was the day it would begin. Miranda had already returned to her paperwork when Harold walked up again, this time holding out a folder. "Here's my purchase order," he said. She blinked. It looked official, properly stamped, complete with signatures. Julia leaned in, reading the name aloud. "Second Route Logistics, Inc." Miranda frowned. "Who authorized this?" she began, and then froze. Her eyes widened at the signature at the bottom. It belonged to the regional head of Mercedes Commercial Partnerships himself, someone who only approved special clients. Her voice dropped. "How did you get this?" Harold smiled softly. "He was my student once, back when I still taught mechanical logistics. I fixed his trucks before he had a company to run." The laughter that had filled the room earlier was gone. Silence hung in its place. Julia looked away, ashamed. Serena, another employee, stepped forward and whispered, "Mr. Brinley, I'm so sorry. We didn't know." Harold simply smiled. "It's all right. You were only doing what the world teaches, to see with eyes, not with heart." Within the hour, calls were made, papers verified, and every detail checked out. The payment had already been processed. Harold wasn't joking. He had truly bought 5 trucks, not to boast, but to build a future. As the sun set, Miranda walked with him toward the delivery bay. "You know," she said softly, "I judged you the moment you walked in. I saw your clothes and thought you were just another dreamer." Harold turned, smiling gently. "Dreams don't die because people stop believing. They just wait for the right hands to build them again." He looked at the trucks gleaming under the lights. "These machines will feed families. They'll carry hope from one town to another. That's worth more than pride, don't you think?" Miranda nodded, her eyes softening. "Yes, it is." The next morning, The 5 white Mercedes trucks rolled out of the showroom, driven by a team of men and women who had been sleeping in shelters just days before. The story spread fast. The ragged man who walked into a Mercedes showroom and bought 5 trucks to rebuild lives, not fortunes. A week later, the showroom received a handwritten note. It read, "Thank you for the laughter. It reminded me how far I've come. Maybe kindness doesn't start with believing in others, but in giving them the chance to prove you wrong." If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to HOA Chronicles, where every story reminds us that sometimes the most extraordinary souls walk in wearing torn clothes and leave behind lessons that shine brighter than chrome.